Hi, everyone. So nice to have you with me today. This is Medicine for Your Soul, and we're going to talk about flower essences. The music you just heard was performed and produced by Yogi Amanbir. And if you want to learn more about him, you can go to AuthenticHarmony.com. I'm Carolyn Jones, a holistic health practitioner, certified in acupuncture detoxification. I'm also an herbalist, aromatherapist. I practice flower essences and also perform reflexology. And I love to incorporate sound therapy and spiritual care in my work. I've written 3 books: Pick Up Your Bed and Walk, which is a self care guide for people beginning to learn about herbs. Incantations is an affirmation book. And the book that we're actually going to be going through uh, throughout these Wednesday sessions, first and third Wednesday sessions, Medicine for Your Soul, Essential Oils, Hydrosols, and Flower Essences. And that's a book with 20 recipes that you can create yourself to bring more peace, grounding, balance, and stability to your emotions. And they consist of a formula of essential oils. And just in case you'd like to learn what essential oils are, you should know that they're highly concentrated plant extracts obtained through distillation or cold pressing. And they're also used for therapeutic properties, supporting emotional well being, skin health, and physical balance. Then we have hydrosols. Hydrosols are in the formula. Hydrosols are water-based. They're aromatic waters produced during steam distillation of plants for essential oils, and they contain small amounts of essential oil compounds along with water-soluble plant components. They're gentle, they're water-based, and they're used for mental, emotional, and spiritual support. So, the history of flower essences, and we'll go through the history each week to help the newcomers uh, come up to speed with us. And this is how they're bottled. Flower essences were created by Dr. Edward Bach. He was a British doctor, a bacteriologist, homeopath, and a spiritual writer. And he experimented with himself actually to develop the flower remedies, which some of you may know about rescue remedy. That's a five flower formula. And in his experimentation, he noticed that people with similar emotional and personality traits tended to develop similar illnesses. And that puts me in the mind of Dr. Louise Hay, who is an author, and she spoke of physical ailments being associated to different emotional disturbances as well. Now, in the case of Dr. Bach, that led him to believe that disease originated first in the mind and emotions, not in the body. He performed in depth research, and the healing system that he used developed the energetic imprint of flowers. They're gentle, non toxic, and accessible to everyone. And that's why I love them, because no matter what medication you're taking, you can use flower essences. And that's why it's very important, I feel, to get the word out to you. Now, there is a traditional sun infusion method. You first harvest dew fresh flowers, then you float them in water. You expose in direct sunlight for several hours, and that extracts the vibrational imprint of the flower to affect the person, or in this case, animal, because you can use flower essences on animals. There is a rescue remedy for pets, and it operates on a subtle, non chemical level. Dr. Edward Bach identified 7 categories of fundamental conflicts which prevent us from being true to ourselves. And I thought it important to break down each one of these categories and even go into a few more during this year. They are loneliness, oversensitivity to influences and ideas, despondency or despair, overcare for the welfare of others, fear, uncertainty, insufficient interest in present circumstances. Okay? So, why don't we take a moment and do a tongue meditation? It's called grief softening. So, I'd like you to close your eyes and put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath and relax your tongue. Inhale, relax your tongue. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale, and this time place the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Hold your breath and exhale through your mouth. One more time. Take a deep breath. Fill your lungs. Touch the roof of your mouth, your soft palate with the tip of your tongue, and exhale through your mouth. Now, I was inspired by a wonderful Facebook friend, Robin, who enjoyed my poetry from the first session, and it inspired me to do a poem for you for each session. But first, I have a story to tell you about this little picture. It's a photograph of a greeting card that I own, and this greeting card has significance because I purchased it for myself at the Museum of the City of New York. I'll never forget it because it was a Sunday and it was a Valentine's Day, and I was feeling extremely lonely. So, in order to uh, bring a soothing effect to that feeling, I treated myself to a museum visit, which I do uh, with great pleasure. And as I was looking through the bookstore there, I found these vintage style greeting cards. I thought I might share that with you. The title of this poem is Loneliness. Entangled in projections, chased by intruders, enchanted by lies, my happiness cried out for deliverance. The pain echoed through my body, awakened by a barely audible whisper. Eyes crusty with the salt of my tears, I trusted emptiness to tell me the truth. Dark mysteries faded, joy crept up behind me. Gone was the endless void. I hugged myself, comforted by my own insatiable passions. The seedlings of a new life became a conscious energy. I replaced the false scenarios of happily ever after, a sticky veil of hopelessness, an illness of the spirit that takes a seat in an unattended heart. Awakened, I now sit in the middle of a calm ocean and consume solitude. And so that poem is meant to compare loneliness to being alone. And when one learns how to be alone with themselves peacefully, then that actually can help ease the pain or replace that deep, dark feeling of loneliness. So, what is loneliness? Loneliness is a universal human experience. It's not a personal failure. It often signals a natural need for connection, safety, and understanding. There are different types of loneliness. There's emotional loneliness, which is a lack of close and intimate bond, social loneliness, which you don't have a sense of community or group belonging. And existential loneliness, which is a deeper sense of separateness or meaninglessness. The key features of loneliness are that you feel unseen, unheard, or misunderstood. You have a longing for emotional closeness or belonging. And it can occur even in close personal relationships or crowds. And it's often accompanied by sadness, emptiness, or yearning. Chronic loneliness can affect mental and physical health. And for the mental, you could be depressed, have anxiety, emotional exhaustion, low self esteem, a feeling of hopelessness. You can even suffer from a cognitive decline and a higher risk of substance misuse. For the physical, the weakened immune system, chronic inflammation, high blood pressure, increased risk of heart disease and stroke, and poor sleep quality. The behavioral and social risks are social withdrawal, reduced motivation for self care, difficulty forming or trusting relationships, increased risk of elder neglect or abuse. And there's also a spiritual impact, excuse me, where you have feelings of disconnection from meaning or purpose, a loss of hope and belonging, or a sense of community, and deepening concerns about one's self worth. The existential questions are, why am I here? And these are questions that are very important for you to take the time out, quiet yourself down, and really explore. Why am I here? Does my life matter? Who am I really beyond my roles? And what gives my life meaning or purpose? So, how do we address our loneliness in healthy ways? We can do some soul searching to determine the root of the loneliness. You can spend time in shared spaces. You can visit libraries, botanical gardens, restaurants, museums, create a date day for yourself and make yourself look and feel special and go out and have a beautiful meal. Even if you just sit in the park and eat a sandwich and do some people watching. Read a book that explores metaphysics or self care. And you can also find a way to help others through volunteer service. What I love is expressing yourself creatively, writing, music, art, journaling, traveling, or studying something new and exciting. Become a lifelong learner. Practice self compassion instead of self judgment. And you could join a class or connect with a group of people with like interests. It's very important to find your tribe. You know, it helps you not feel out of place. Now, the Flower Essence Society is an organization that carried on Dr. Edward Bach's work. It's a nonprofit educational organization founded by Patricia Kaminsky and Richard Katz in 1979. It's dedicated to the research, preparation, and teaching of flower essence therapy. Be a great organization for you to become a member of, very nominal cost, and you can purchase flower essences and also learn about each flower and its benefits. There are hundreds in their encyclopedia. So, how do we use flower essences? We can use them orally with drops or pasteles, little gummy candies. It can be diluted in water. You have drops you put in water, or it can be used topically, pulse points, wrists, behind the ears, over the heart. And the topically speaks directly to why I wrote the book. And we'll get into that. Baths and foot soaks, compresses, creams, oils, lotions, inhalation, like with steaming, and misters is what Medicine for Your Soul handbook offers formulas for misters. Flower essences are water based, they're safe for children and pets, and they're not contraindicated for pharmaceutical medications. You will not get a reaction. If you don't feel comfortable ingesting them, as I said, topically is fine. The book, Medicine for Your Soul Essential Oils, Hydrosols, and Flower Essences, is a recipe book for misters that can be used for mind body alignment and subtle energy attunement. Each of these Medicine for Your Soul sessions will take a deep dive into the recipes that address emotional imbalances. So, we're talking about grounding this week. Last session, we talked about balance, and you can view it on the Magical Witchy World channel as well. That's what I love about this. It is on demand. So, for grounding, we're looking at Snapdragon. It balances expression and communication, transforms anger and tension, and awakens creative vocal expression. Rose geranium, the essential oil, connects to the heart and balances intuition, aligns and harmonizes all of the chakras. And neroli, the hydrosol, heals the divine inner child, promotes lucid dreaming for connection with celestial realms, and gently lifts emotional scars and fears. So, in looking at these different formulas, one of my favorite writers, Audre Lorde, states that self care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And in this part of the program, I would love to have a chat with you. And I know I invited quite a few of my herby friends to join us and share their information, because what I'd like is for this program to be a community that works together and we share and enjoy. Robin, thank you for your inspiration. And I will continue to do poetry and indulge. One of my favorite things to do is create poetry. And this is a perfect opportunity. Tamara, I'm so happy that you made it. And I'm happy you enjoyed the exercise. And isn't it something how you could do the simplest thing and really get the benefit of relaxation? You know, it doesn't have to be dramatic, it could be ever so subtle. Okay. Yes, Robin. Flower essences are similar to homeopathics, and one does not have to worry. I really enjoy homeopathics as well. Hmm. Okay. And for anyone else who is on, if you have anything that you would like to share regarding flower essences, if you've taken them before, I know that I started out with Rescue Remedy um, because I particularly liked, and I think I mentioned this the first session, Star of Bethlehem, because it deals with trauma going all the way back to childhood. So, you know, as we get older, trauma is sure to show its ugly face. And we have to find ways, natural ways, to deal with it and come away from self medicating with harmful substances. That's one reason too that I'm so passionate about this is because I hate seeing people hurt themselves. And it may not hurt you in the beginning, but over time, if it's alcohol, your liver could suffer. Uh, Other types of drugs, it could be cognitive, it's certainly spiritual all the way. So it's important to, if you don't want to share, read. Really take up the art of reading books that are designed to help move you to the next level and evolve within your spirit. Robin, you use Star of Bethlehem for the dogs or trauma? Rock rose, wild rose, white cherry. Yes, yes. It's um it's a wonderful experience for pets. Okay. And I think that rescue remedy is a way that people often start, just because you have to learn that they come as singles, you know, and certainly have benefited from a number of flower essences, agrimony, you know, that is a great flower essence for when you're having conflicts. Holly helps you maintain that joy. I know I used holly when COVID was plaguing us, and mainly because I had to go back to work and I was very upset about having to take public transportation and be around so many people. So it helped me balance my mood as I navigated through those types of challenges. I'd like to hear what other flower essences you've used, and if this has inspired you to look into maybe Snapdragon and see, how it works for you. Let me know in the chat. There is quote by Louise Hay that I used to have my senior citizens recite after every class, and I sort of want to take that into our practice here. It states, I expect the very best in life, and I allow myself to receive it now. Would you repeat that with me? I expect the very best in life, and I allow myself to receive it now. Now let's say it one more time. I expect the very best in life, and I allow myself to receive it now. A lot of times we use our words against ourselves, and it's very important to learn the art of affirmation so that you can begin to attract what you desire, what you long for, who you are, you know, like really state who you are and see yourself as deserving of the best. You can make your own plant medicine. This is a QR code if you're interested in the flip book as a handbook to go along with this study. And, I'd like to thank you for the time that you spent with me this evening. As always, I will be doing some research, and our next emotion will have a poem and a breakdown of how we can overcome that emotion. And for those of you that are experiencing any type of loneliness, know that you are never, ever alone. Just get in touch with your higher self, your ancestors, and find your tribe. Okay? So have a nice evening. And thank you for being with me. See you next time.